Hi everybody. We're going to talk with you today about our experience with two humidifiers. We've been looking for a long time for one, especially one with cool mist rather than warm mist. And so this was going to be something new for us. We searched around, we looked at ratings, and we found in Consumer Reports a very high rating. I believe it was the top rating for the BabyMoov Humidifier. And so we ordered that, which is the first one to arrive. We also ordered another one called Lasko, roughly the same size, just as a backup to save some time if we wanted to go to a plan B. So we started with the BabyMoov, and here it is. Very nice looking machine. This is the control panel, which lights up when you turn it on. Up here is the top spout. As you'll find out later, it's not secure, it just sits on top, which becomes an issue. So here we have the aroma oil tray. As you can see, that's in case you want to put aroma oil in to get that into the mist, which can be nice. This is the bottom view, and in the back you'll see that it has a removable power cord, which is good to have when you are cleaning and draining especially. But back up to the top, we're removing the tank from the bottom, and you just saw that the aroma oil tray fell off. This shows how the two fit together. Down in the bottom there is a little motor that generates the mist, and it goes up through the chimney in the middle. It's easy to put one onto the other. Again, you just place on that aroma oil tray. There's nothing further you can do with it. This is the top spout, which again is just placed on. There's no way to secure it. It sits there, which is useful for directing, but not for security. Now we're going to be filling up the tank. You just unscrew this piece, and we're using, as you'll see, distilled water, which is what the directions call for. And at first that came as a surprise. We thought you could just use tap water, but it works great because we have used another steamer now for about over a week, and there has been nothing to clean. It's completely clean on the inside. Also, if you live in an area of the country that has hard water, which most of the country does, it can get especially bad with both buildup on the machine and what they call white dust on your furniture and all over in the house. Probably not good for breathing either. So we use the distilled water, and we're happy with that. And again, it's easy to fill up. Just screw on the top, quite simple. And then the pieces fit together quite easily. Just put the front label of the tank on the front above the base, and it's right there. So now a little bit will drain down into the base. Don't be alarmed, that's just the way that it works, to fill up the base before it goes. And then that gets it ready to go. And so now we have moved it up to the bedroom, and we have it going. Press the button, and instantly the night light comes on, which is a nice function. And we're starting to work with the controls, which have a lot of options. They're complicated, I must tell you. You can set the humidity. You can set the intensity of the steam. It's done with just a few buttons, and you use them in different ways. For one function, you have to hold for 10 seconds, for one for 3 seconds. The night light is also in there. And so it's good to have options, but they were not really that easy to work with. This is the chimney. As I mentioned, you can direct it 360 degrees. So it's good as far as that's concerned. And as you can see, the steam starts instantly, unlike with a warm mist heater, which has to heat up, of course. But the steam comes right out, and then you adjust for the intensity of the steam and the directions. So we got it set up, and we left it for an hour to see how it would work. And when we came back, we noticed two things. Most importantly, the front of the machine was covered with water, and there was water on the floor as well. and so we didn't videotape that. We had to shut it off and clean everything up with a towel. We also noticed that the humidity in the room had only risen by 1%. So we're going to show you, we're going to test it again for you in the next frame, next day, just to show how that worked, which we weren't able to videotape the first time around. But this is what happens. As you can see, right here the unit is covered with water, both in that gray cone and all the way down the front. And the way this happens is in the first 15 minutes or so, it starts to accumulate in that cone. At some point it starts overflowing from the cone and also overflowing from that clear hood underneath and dripping down. And in about an hour or so, you have water all over the front of the machine. Again, that's the seam where that insecure cone is connected. You have water all over the front of the machine, but as you'll notice, it just follows gravity and it goes onto the floor or onto the table or wherever the machine is sitting. And as you can see, a lot of this is because that gray cone is tilted downward. And so any water there is just going to follow gravity and go down and on the machine and on the table or on your floor. So now you can see as we get down here to the bottom, you'll see the water right around the base. And especially if you have it on a wooden table, that's going to cause a problem. But it's a safety issue as well, I would think. You don't want water around an electrical piece of equipment. So it keeps going until we turned it off and cleaned it up. But that was just unacceptable. Now, even if some of this was from being a defective unit, we wouldn't really go for a replacement of it because as far as we can see, a lot of these issues are based on the design. That aroma tray that fell off is still flimsy. The gray cone that we were showing you is tilted downward. The clear hood where the water collects underneath just sits on top. There's no seal on it. And the control panel is confusing as it is. So that was our experience with the BabyMoov. Next we're going to tell you what we found with the Lasko. Okay, welcome back. So now we're going to show you the Lasko, which we also purchased at the same time. We purchased the Lasko from Walmart. The BabyMoov came from Bloomingdale's. Did a nice job of packing here. But they're both available at most outlets. Very well known, both of them. So opening it up now, and as we can show you, there are same general shape, same basic size, roughly the same. The differences are pretty easy to see. The control, well, you'll see that in a minute, but the top is one thing. That little cone at the top shoots the steam straight up into the air. The white equivalent of the hood on the BabyMoov is white plastic here, and it's pretty tightly connected to the tank, and it doesn't come off. The little top piece does come off. Always be sure to keep it in because it's necessary to direct the steam upwards. The control here in the front is just really two controls. One is the dial on and off and the intensity of the steam. And up above it you see a little button which is to turn and adjust the night light. The shape is a nice shape. It kind of reminds you of a big drop of water with the chimney in the middle. And you're seeing it from the inside with the gasket. This is where it connects to the base. Up top is where you put that small piece in at the top, and then as you turn it over, this is the gasket at the bottom. Again, like the BabyMoov, very simple. You just unscrew it, and then quite easy to fill with water. After a little practice, I was able to do this just pouring right out of the gallon bottle, and no problems at all. Again, a reminder, always use distilled water. That's a great investment in avoiding cleanup later on, and really keeping the air healthier in the room. Now, like the BabyMoov, they take roughly the same amount of water. It's about 3 quarts each, and it fills up pretty quickly, especially when you just pour from the bottle. You can do it in about 30 seconds or so. And that will last you about 10 to 12 hours, even with it turned to full speed or full intensity, if you have it full. And so that's a good night's sleep and then some. You may even have some left over for the next day. So just cleaning it up a bit, and then we'll get it onto the top and get it going. One thing that I've heard in general is don't screw it too tight, because that could wear it out, possibly crack it, but tight but not too tight. And as with the BabyMoov, they're both quite simple to attach. There's pretty much one way and one way only to do them, and you just place it on top. You notice all those bubbles. That's to be expected. That's just a little bit of water going from the tank into the base where it gets turned into the mist, and that's the way it's supposed to happen. So now we're getting it ready to test. We're going to bring it into the bedroom. Here it is. And as you'll notice, we added some more water before we brought it upstairs. Wanted to get it a little bit more full. And we just put in the top piece, and it's ready to go. So again, this control is very simple. The dial, it's an off and on switch, and the further you turn it clockwise, the more mist you get. So the little blue light shows that it's on. Unlike the BabyMoov, you can see that the Lasko steamer or humidifier shoots the mist straight up into the air, which is much better for diffusing it around the room. And we've noticed that we do get good results. The humidity goes up around 10% overnight. And this little top piece acts like a whistle. It concentrates the mist and gets it right up into the air. Now, one thing you can see, you can twist this, adjust it 360 degrees full, very easy. Be sure to keep it away from the walls, as the directions say. You can also adjust the night light with the blue button in the front. By tapping that, you get probably at least 6 different choices of lights, including one that alternates among all of them until you decide to change it. So that's a nice feature, especially if you have the lights out in the room at night. We noticed that when we started it was 31% humidity. By then it was 32%. By the next morning the humidity was 42%. So we got about 10% increase overnight. And that makes a difference. As you can see, the next morning it's still going. The blue light is on to show that there is still water left. We just turned it off, which you can do when you get up, when you're ready to go. If the machine runs out of water on its own, it will automatically shut itself off, and you will see a red light there, just to show you that it is out of water, but not to worry, because it does shut itself off. So here are our conclusions after testing the Lasko and the BabyMoov. It was a clear choice for the Lasko. We had 4 main thoughts to take away from this. The first is that the mist on the Lasko does get up into the air. It doesn't end up condensing on the machine and then on the floor or the table. The second is that just in general it's more sturdy. Those top pieces on the Lasko, the white hood is firmly attached versus the hood on the BabyMoov just sitting there and frankly leaking. For the third item is that the controls on the Lasko are much easier to work with. Very simple, just a knob and a button for the nightlight. And the fourth that we hadn't really talked about before is the Lasko is much less expensive. It was roughly $50 versus roughly $100 for the BabyMoov. So again, it was a clear choice for the Lasko. I want to thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you can click the like button, and we hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and bye for now.